Welcome back to The Explainer. So, you've been learning German for a bit, you've got the basics down. But today we're going to move beyond that. We are going to level up your German, adding some serious style and precision to how you speak and write. I mean, are you tired of saying the child who is crying and want to just say the crying child? Or maybe you want to talk about what will have happened by next week. If you're nodding your head right now, then you have absolutely come to the right place. I want you to think of these not as some dusty old grammar rules, but as actual power-ups for your language skills. We're going to unlock 3 of them today, and they are really going to change how you express your ideas. So let's get into it. Okay, our first power-up is what I like to call the action adjective. The fancy name is Partizip I, and it's just a fantastic tool for making your descriptions way more dynamic and, honestly, more efficient. So what does it do? Well, its main job is to describe an action that is happening right now. You know how in English we say things like a laughing child, a singing bird, or a sleeping dog? This lets you do exactly that in German. It's super handy. And you know what the best part is? Making it is so simple. You just take the full verb, the infinitive, like lachen, to laugh, and you just stick a D on the end, lachend. Or weinen, to cry, becomes weinend. Seriously, that's it. Now, there are 2 main ways you can use this little guy. The first way is as an adverb, where it describes how someone does something. In this sentence, lachend tells us how he comes into the room. And here's the key. When you use it like this, the ending never, ever changes. It's always just lachend. Okay, but here's the second and, I think, the most powerful way to use it, as an adjective that comes right before a noun. Here, singenden is describing the bird. This is where you can really start building these beautiful, sophisticated sentences. But, and this is a big but, you have to remember the golden rule. Just like any other adjective in German, it needs the correct ending based on case, gender, and all that fun stuff. So, let's just recap real quick. When you use it as an adverb to describe a verb, it's easy peasy. It always ends in AD. But the second you put it in front of a noun as an adjective, you got to switch on your grammar brain and apply all those standard adjective declension rules. Nailing this difference is what's going to make you sound so much more natural. All right, moving on to our second power-up. This one lets you play with time in a really cool way. It's called the Futur II, but I prefer to call it the time traveler's tense. You might not use it in casual chats every single day, but for expressing complex ideas about time, oh, it's essential. You know, this tense is a real 2-for-1 deal. First, it lets you peer into the future and talk about something that will be finished by a certain point. But second, and this is a really cool, subtle one, it lets you make a strong, educated guess about something that's probably already happened in the past. It's like a detective's tense. I know, the formula looks a little scary at first, but trust me, it's totally logical. You just start with werden, like you do for the future tense, then you add the past participle that you already know from the perfect tense, and you finish it all off with either haben or sein at the very end, whichever one your main verb normally hangs out with in the past. Okay, here's that first use case in action. We're right here in the present, looking ahead to tomorrow, and we're saying that by then, the act of writing the email will be done, it'll be complete. You can see the structure perfectly. Werd das E-Mail geschrieben haben. It's a neat little package. And here is that second use case, making that assumption about the past. You don't see your friend, so you make a guess. She has probably gone home already. See that little word wohl? That often pops up here to show it's a guess and assumption. The structure is exactly the same, but the meaning is totally different. It's all about context. All right, our final power-up for today honestly feels like a magic trick. It's a way for you to instantly expand your vocabulary by just creating new nouns whenever you want. Let's look at Nominalisierung, or as I call it, the concept creator. So what's the big idea? It's all about taking an action, a verb, and turning it into a thing, a concept, a noun you can actually talk about. This lets you discuss the act of doing something as the subject of your sentence. Let me show you how ridiculously easy this is. We'll start with a super basic verb, an action, like schwimmen, to swim. And boom, just like that, it's a concept. All you have to do is capitalize the first letter and put das in front of it. You've just created a brand new noun, das Schwimmen, the act of swimming. Now you can say stuff like, das Schwimmen is mein Hobby. Swimming is my hobby. And this pattern is everywhere. It's so useful. Lesen, to read, becomes das Lesen, the act of reading. Essen, to eat, becomes das Essen, which can mean the eating or just the food. And Leben, to live, becomes das Leben, life itself. The rule couldn't be simpler. You capitalize the infinitive, and it magically becomes a neuter noun. Okay, so now you're armed with these 3 new power-ups. But, with great power comes a few common traps you need to look out for. So let's make sure you know how to wield these powers wisely and avoid the pitfalls. Here are the big ones to watch out for. For that action adjective, the Partizip I, please don't forget those adjective endings. For the Futur II, just double-check if your verb needs haben or sein at the end. And with Nominalisierung, that capital letter is everything. Oh, and a little pro tip for the Futur II, don't overdo it. Sometimes a simpler tense is way better. All right, you knew this was coming. It is time to test out your new skills. I've got a few sentences here for you to complete. This is your final challenge to really make sure these new powers have clicked into place. Take a good look at these 5 sentences. Each one uses one of the power-ups we just talked about. This is a great moment to pause the explainer, really think through your answers, and see how you do. We'll check them in just a second. Okay, pencils down. Let's see the answers. Number 1 is eine schlafende Katze. That's our Partizip I with the adjective ending. Number 2 is our time traveler's tense. Werden wir umgezogen sein. 3 is that magic trick, Nominalization, das Reisen. 4 is the Partizip I used as an adverb, tanzend, no ending needed. And number 5 is the Futur II for making a guess. Wird es wohl vergessen haben. So how'd you do? So there you have it. You've just unlocked 3 incredibly useful powers: the action adjective, the time traveler's tense, and the concept creator. My final question for you is a simple one. How are you going to take one of these and consciously try to use it in your German this week? That's all for this explainer.